The true function of a cheesemonger is to provide excellent customer service. But to provide great customer service, we need to make sure that we're offering cross-pairing items. Pairings not only, offer your customer a new food experience, but it's also important to get those sales up and increase your basket rings. The basic principles of pairing and cross-selling are likes with likes. For example, a nice nutty manchego with a Marcona almond, or opposites attract, something like a pungent blue with a sweet honey. And also what kind of grows together, goes together. So if you think of Parmigiano Reggiano and Prosciutto di Parma, great classic pairings. But the only way to really be sure what works is to offer your customer a taste. So let's jump in and just try a couple of these great pairings.
So we got some brie.
Yes.
Some brie and some other brie and some stuff that's kind of like brie but maybe isn't brie. I mean, from a pairing point of view, the camembert has a very particular intense flavor profile. But putting that one aside, it's going to be milk, butter, and salt are the predominant flavors, right, of most of these. Texture is huge in this family. This is where pairing these cheeses with champagne or sparkling wine makes a lot of sense because the bubbles in the wine cut the fat. I'm gonna be looking for my food pairings to cut the fat.
Gotcha. I'm looking for things that kind of go with butter. I like butter. I think it's great. Of course, I want to initially put all this on a piece of bread, but I want to be a little more innovative than that right now.
All right, cool. Well, let's grab some stuff and taste. I have 3 different kinds of crackers and Nathan has a plate of meat.
I have one pile of meat. Because, I love brie and I love prosciutto. What can go wrong?
I think any kind of cracker is good for these styles because the cheese itself is pretty neutral, but I love being able to eat my fruit and nuts with my cracker. So a go-to for me, universally across this whole family, is some kind of fruit or nut flatbread. Can you feel me on that one?
I can feel you on that one.
You feel like that?
I'm not going to disagree.
It's like you said you want to put it on bread. It's like bread and butter, only here you get a little bit of sweetness and you get crunch. So I'm going to crunch on this while you take me through that situation.
Great prosciutto di Parma. I just love it. I think it is just a delicious meat. And I love this brie, so I'm just going to go with an I love with an I love. A little bit of butter and a little bit of salty meat.
That seems like it's going to be very, very buttery.
It's pretty buttery. This is not exactly what I was going for.
I bet you can make a really good sandwich out of it. Maybe with like some pickles and some bread.
It's not good. It's texturally not on. This is kind of like gooey with gooey, which gooey squared sometimes really doesn't work out. So I'm going to have to try this with something a little bit more crunchy here. Yeah, that's probably better. That did it.
Yeah, it helps, right?
You just needed some texture to it.
You need something there. Maybe these cheeses just aren't very good with savory things. So I'm inclined to reach for sweet things. I think of real classic brie with sliced pear or sliced apple, and you get a little sweetness and you get a little crunch. One of the other things I wanted to try was offsetting the really intense, mushroomy, kind of stinky qualities of good real camembert by putting a little bit of cheese on some dried fruit. Again, for me, I don't want to put honey or fruit jam on these cheeses because I'm scared of that situation. I don't want it to be all gooed up. Yeah, using a piece of dried fruit as a cracker works in a way that putting jam or honey or fruit paste would not.
Well, if you're going fruit, I'm going nuts. I'm going to try mine with a little bit of Marcona almonds. This definitely needs texture, and I think that works out well for me.
And to that end, I want to just propose one semi-crazy thing to you, which I feel like would be especially good with the triple creme or the double creme, but would work with any of them. If your nut worked, try my nut, which is a chocolate piedras. So it's a nut that's encased in chocolate with a dusting of cocoa powder. Super crunchy. You get the roasty flavors of chocolate, but it's not super, super, super sweet.
I'm going to believe you on this one. This is a little bit
cocoa as opposed to like a milk chocolate bar. That to me is like the perfect dessert.
That works very well together. Sweet, salty, added with the butter, and then a little bit of the crunch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I guess my takeaway here, these guys are a little more versatile than I thought. You can do some savory pairings. but you've got to have some kind of textural contrast.
Absolutely. If it's all gooey, it just doesn't work.
That was a hard lesson to learn, but I'm glad I did it with you.
But at the end, it was a very sweet lesson to learn.
Oh.